Well, eventually the Sumerians figured out why their gods were so mean to them all the time, why they were so angry, why they were so mad at them all the time. And in fact, I've given you all the information you need to know to understand and figure out why the gods were so angry and mad. Remember I told you that according to the story these people tell about themselves, they didn't always live in Sumer. They used to live in the mountains to the north of Sumer, and then someone got the idea for irrigation and city building, and they moved down to the very flat land of Sumer. And then remember that I told you that when the people lived up in the mountains up here, that the gods lived on top of the mountains, and the people lived down in the valleys. And then they moved down to the very flat land of Sumer. Well, there's no mountains for the gods to live on top of. So eventually, no wonder the gods were so mad, right? I mean, if you were a god and your people moved to some place where there weren't mountains for you to live on top of, you'd be pretty upset too. Okay, you'd be pretty angry too. But the Sumerians decided they could figure out a way to accommodate the gods. And that way is with structures that are called ziggurats. You don't have to look at a picture of a ziggurat too long to figure out that, a ziggurat is simply an artificial mountain. In fact, the word ziggurat in the Sumerian language means up high. Yes, there should be an end parens there on the parentheses, shouldn't there? I messed up. Anyway, it's an artificial mountain for the gods to live on top of. This is the ziggurat at a city called U-R. It's the second easiest spelling word in the entire course. It's another big city in Sumer. In fact, the word U-R, means city in Sumer, and that has led many archaeologists to conclude that it was the first city in Sumer. That is a point of some controversy. I should point that out to you. I'm not telling you it was the first city, but it's certainly a very early city, a very important city. In fact, we'll be coming back to later on in the course. I've got some other images to show you of the ziggurat at This is the most famous of the ziggurats. It's fairly well preserved. The top half, in fact, let me come back here for a second. The top half, according to reconstructions, would have been much taller than this. People who lived near this ziggurat in once this part of the world had become part of the Muslim Empire, no longer believed in the gods, so they just took the clay bricks apart from the top, and that's why the top part is missing. But it would have been in a triangular shape. Another view of the ziggurat at And another view here. You see a stairway for choirs to go up and sing songs to the gods. There would have been a temple built at the top for the god to live in. The idea wasn't that people would be able to go up the staircase and somehow enter the world of the gods, but it was an invitation for the god to come down and live on earth. There was this desire to connect to the gods in that way, and to give them a place to live so they wouldn't be so angry. But apparently they never built enough of these, and you can see several of them in where Iraq is today. I'm just showing you the most famous one. Apparently they never built enough of these because they never built enough of these artificial mountains for the gods to live on to make the gods happy, because bad stuff still kept happening.